as a motorcyclist, I'm not really used to following people, and I don't know how I'm going to follow that. On Sunday, the 25th of September this year, at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, from 106 starting points on the UK's trunk road network of motorways and dual carriageways, from Redruth to Inverness, from the north of Ireland to the east of England, more than 40,000 motorcyclists answered a call from the Motorcycle Action Group to ride in protest under the banner EU Hands Off Biking. MAG UK is not an anti-EU organisation, but we are very much opposed to the EU's policies and attitudes towards biking. Our organisation was founded before the before the UK joined the common market. Our purpose is to oppose restrictive legislation at home, but almost all the legal threats to biking now come from Europe. We are definitely not anti-European. The principle of free movement of goods and services is something that motorcyclists benefit from hugely. When I meet other riders from across the length and breadth of the European Union and Europe itself, the wider European Economic Area, bear in mind that I'm meeting people who, from the north of that area, have a riding season of just 2 or 3 months a year, and people in the south of the whole area who have 12 months of really good riding weather. From the Arctic to the Mediterranean, the European area covered by EU regulations is enormous and diverse. But what we all agree about is that the EU's one-size-fits-all obsession with controlling what we do is simply not acceptable. We as bikers are told that we must be regulated for our own good. That when we do anything to tailor our own bikes to fit our own bodies or our own travelling needs, then what we're doing is tampering, and that new regulations are needed, without any evidence that there are going to be real road safety or environmental benefits to society from those regulations. And we as consumers are largely excluded from the negotiations to devise them. Distancing citizens from decisions being made about their lives leads to a sense of alienation and even of oppression. Of course, it's the UK government that's going to get the backlash, whether that's because they fail to incorporate us fully in their negotiations, or because they can't convince other countries, or because they let their own departments make a mess of implementing the changes to the UK law. It's our government that often has to deal with the consequences. For instance, in recent years, the number of new riders able to get a full driving licence for a motorcycle has halved following changes to EU rules on licensing regulations. The UK's interpretation of those rules meant that our National Driving Standards Agency relied on building just 50 motorcycle test centres for the whole of the UK. Before the rules changed, there were over 230 places where you could start taking a motorcycle test. EU policy is often dressed up as being about safer roads and cleaner environment. Now, that should be something that we can all get behind and support. It should be motherhood and apple pie. But instead, we get the mother of all messes and gravy train politics that excludes the people who are most affected. Well, let's not forget. Riders are voters. There's more than 1 million of us. We all have friends and families. We're all angry, and we can all be mobilised. Biking is about freedom and flexibility. From the daily commute to the weekend recreation ride, whether we're collecting, restoring, or building one-off special bikes that suit us, or if we simply want to ride our bikes as far away from home as we can to explore the world, it's all a very diverse activity. And what we bikers do should be absolutely in tune with the principles of a free Europe, but it rarely seems that way to us. Which is why the 25th of September protests were organised. Because although talking to politicians is important, it's not enough on its own. It's time to show the UK government and its representatives in Europe that we want them to roll back the tide of interference in biking, not add to it.